What's up, Blizzard Nation? Welcome back to Strictly Blizzness, episode 105.
Here we are.
Yep, something is out of the ordinary in this episode.
I can't really tell what it is. Ryan, you seem so far
feel
away.
Small and far away.
You feel really small.
Well, we have
Hi.
a guest.
Hello.
You want to intro our guest before we intro the sponsors?
Yeah, I can do that. This is Mr. Tyrell Thompson, number
55.
55 on the...
Offense and defensive line.
Oh, he does both sides of the ball. Currently injured,
Yes.
or have been injured for a little while now, a couple of weeks.
Actually, a month today. Or
Is
yesterday.
it 1 month? 1 full month. Okay. It seemed like forever, though.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
did. More for you than it did for me, I'm sure. But welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's like a dream come true, honestly.
Look at him. A dream come true. Well, how about we talk about our sponsors?
Yes. So, huge shout out to Creative Edge and Edge VR
As well as Werner Electric.
for making Strictly Blizzness possible.
All right.
All right.
So the reason why we have Tyrell on the show, and we call him, well, what nicknames have you had? Because I know of T-Tom, but...
So, it's actually funny. Selena had just texted me way over here and told me to inform you that it's actually T-Top. So, like, with the, with the P.
it's not.
But T-Tom makes sense because my last name is
Yeah,
Thompson.
that's what I thought it was.
I actually don't know how I got that name. Last year we had 2 Tyrells on the team, and so I came late, and Tyrell Jacobs was already here, and so Coach Tay Brooks just started calling me T-Top, and it kind of just stuck with me, and then carried over to this year. But I mean, T-Top, Big T, Big Bucko. It's like I have anything big.
I'm small R.
Anything big
yeah.
is kind of what they call me. But yeah,
So how big are you?
I am 6'5", 300 pounds.
That's big. I'm glad we're not standing because we would be
No,
doing the
right?
whole show
Yeah.
looking up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So since we have you on the show, and it was actually your suggestion, and I'm glad you came up with it, but we did have, and I can't remember which fan it was, asked to have a player on just to kind of show...
The size difference.
And we did tell him there's no script, so he has no idea.
No, he is not prepared.
No idea what we're going to ask, and quite honestly, we don't either. But from a player perspective, we're going to review the game in just a little bit. But I think having you on the show helps to bring kind of the full circle of what the organization is for us. So for us, it's about behind the scenes. That's what this show has always been. So having a player perspective of behind the scenes, I think, is a valuable thing. So thank you to our fan that suggested we have a player on, because they really didn't think we knew who you guys were. I think that's the case. They didn't think we really know the players.
There's a chance that is accurate with me some days. So
I feel like
I know
having
this
played
young man
for
plenty, so.
other teams, that's probably the case, but definitely not here. You guys are definitely, more involved. I've been other places, and you guys come around, and you guys show up a lot, not just on game day, and so that means a lot to us.
So where have you played other than Green Bay?
Frisco. The first year of Frisco. Well, I guess year and a half because the COVID year, but 2021 I was with Frisco.
Okay. So you were one of Billy's guys?
No, I was with Clint Dazell.
Okay, so that was before Billy came there. That's right, I forgot.
I was Billy's guy for a week, and then, and then he traded me. But, it's
Well,
okay.
Billy's not there anymore, so
It's okay. We're still friends.
I like Billy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. All right, so give us kind of, so we just had a game. If you had played in that game, give us kind of like the rundown of how you prepare for the week of. So I know you watch film, you take and kind of break down their last game with their previous opponent, and the components of the game.
Right.
But kind of give us from a player perspective what that week feels like.
So for every position is different. So I mainly play offensive line. So from an offensive lineman standpoint, we're looking at their defensive line from the last game, and then possibly the last 2 games, and then whenever we played them before. So we've already played Quad Cities twice before, and so we're looking at that first game in Quad Cities and then that second game here in Green Bay, and just seeing what they do, what their tendencies are, how hard they rush, what they do against the run, and then from there you take that and for us, you apply it to our D-line in practice. So I'm telling Anthony Hayes and Canty, like, rush hard on this play because I know that, number 10 from Quad City is going to rush hard on this play. And then you kind of use that to mimic kind of what they're going to do. But practice is practice. There's nothing like the game. So everything's going to be faster. The guy knows that you're studying him, so he's going to switch things up. So I have to switch things up on the fly. And I think for me personally, being a long-term defensive lineman, that's helped me on the offensive line because I know if the O-lineman does something in a certain way that I'm going to react to it. And so, like, as a defensive lineman, offensive lineman, I can kind of beat them to it. And sometimes that gets me in trouble because I do beat them to it before they even do it. And then I have to kind of counter off of that. But
absolutely. So that's interesting to me because so many people think that football is all just physical, but there's so many mental attributes to playing football, right? Yeah. So your coaches, you can all say that you have plays that you're going to run, and you're right, you don't know what the other team's going to do to react or act against whatever you're going to do. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a bit that you guys offer up at practice and to one another on both sides of that ball. So that's really cool to know.
Yeah, and it gets kind of tough because, like, you think they're going to come out in zone and they come out in man, and then you have to change, like, your whole play calling script. And so that part gets tough, but it's more in practice, we kind of just throw everything out there. That way we're prepared for, any and everything. And we have great coaches who put us in really good position to help us out with that.
That's really cool. Well, hell. Look at that.
In one episode, we've covered more football than the entire year of Strictly Blizzness.
Well, but...
Achievement unlocked.
Next level. We're at the next level.
A gaming trophy from HVR Arcade.
All right, let's talk about the game just a little bit. Obviously, it was a heartbreaking loss for us on many levels. And even after it ended, we were hoping that Iowa was going to win, and they did not either. But let's talk about the game because before the show started, we were saying that if it wasn't for that first 30 seconds and the two scores that happened in like a blur of time, it would have been a very competitive game. And, we spent the entire game trying to come back. Even getting the ball at the second half and starting out that half, I felt, okay, we're still behind, but we're not behind by that much. And then by the time we got to fourth quarter, now we're down by 2 scores, and we just couldn't recoup those initial 30 seconds. So as a player, because I've been around you guys enough down in by the bench, even away, and I think this is very difficult for every team. So this is not just our team. I'm not just picking on our team, but how do you, as players, not feel the weight of that? And how do you overcome that as players? Because you have guys on the team that are just, this sucks, we're going to lose, That's not the mindset to be in second quarter, third quarter, even in the last 2 minutes of the game, right? This season, though, I've noticed that whatever happens in the first minute of the game is just as important as what happened in the last minute of the game for the IFL. And that happens across all of our teams. If you're up, whatever happens in that first minute, those first couple plays, if you score once, score twice, which we've done, and we won the game, and then it happened to us this past weekend. So how do you guys rally, or how should you rally, or what could change? What could we as owners, coaches do to help lift you guys up a little bit?
I feel like in that moment, it's all on the players. You got to come out ready. It's tough on the road because you warm up like an hour and a half before the game starts. And then once you're done warming up, you have like an hour to sit and wait. And, you try to keep yourself hyped up. You try to keep yourself going. But, that is difficult. It's difficult on the mind and the body to go out there and have to play such a, high collision game after you've been sitting for an hour. And, sometimes you do start flat, but I feel like after that first kickoff return that should have, woke up everybody, I wasn't there. So I don't know what happened or what didn't happen, but, 7 points there, and then our kickoff return, was, bobbled and couldn't get on top of it. So there's a 14-point swing. And, the easy thing to do is, like you say, like hang your head and, be upset. But, we don't do that here in Green Bay. We fight back. And, I think everybody saw that. They watched the game Saturday. And, it's just everybody coming together, the coaches coach, players play, and between everyone in our organization just coming together and lean on each other, I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, we definitely have needed to do that throughout this season. I mean, our season did not start out that great. I mean, that first game, I always think that first game doesn't show the caliber of the team, because in order for you guys, as you were saying before, you need to know and anticipate not only what the other team's going to do, but what your teammates are going to do. Right. So you all have to play together in order to anticipate how you handle the game, right? Mm-hmm. So Saturday's game, I think after that first, like I said, 30 seconds, I think is a well-played game.
Right.
I don't, it's sad that we have to say we're done now. I mean, we're not done playing because we have another game, and it's still going to be a well thought out game in Tucson, but there's no playoff implications for us. And I believe Tucson doesn't have they're in. So
right.
They're in, but I believe outside of Arizona, the second seed is up for grabs.
Yeah, they're still fighting.
Oh, so they're playing for home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And just like kind of touch base on what you said, like the beginning of the season, like we went to camp, had a great camp as a team, and this was a couple months ago, so we were all thinking like we were on the high horse, and then Frisco came in, and they took care of business against us, and that really woke us up. And then we went to Massachusetts the next week. So you're talking 2 powerhouse teams back to back to start the season. That was kind of tough for us, but we needed it. We're not like a really young team, but we have a lot of rookies, and so that helped us. And then we went on a nice little stretch the rest of the season. So I think whoever made our schedule, set us up for failure at first, but it definitely helped us, on the back half of the season for sure.
We don't pull any punches on the show. You know who you are. No.
Well,
I know you are too, but I wasn't going to say anything. I definitely know who he is. But, yeah.
Well, and we've said it so many times. It's not so much that he wants us to do that, but that is usually who has availability. Yep. On our side of the states. It's the early games are us at home, and then flying to those arenas because they also have early home games. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. And until all of the arenas can have all of the same weekends open, we're not going to be able to mix that up very much. But it does seem like we play Massachusetts either the first or second game every year. So... Well, awesome. That's the game. Do you have anything else on the game you want to talk about?
I did. I have a question, and I think it happened when Jerome went down earlier in the season. So what's it like for a quarterback change in game? I'm not talking morale-wise, just especially offensive linemen because those are 2 different players. Right? One's really elusive, and Max still runs, but does it change how you have to play the game based on who's under center? Because
1,000%. So the difference in them, Rome will take off, in like 2 seconds. Yeah. And we all know that. And so as an offensive lineman, it's kind of easier because I don't have to block as long. I can go just watch him run down the field. But with Max will stay in the pocket. Max is like 6'3", like 220. So he'll stay in the pocket, try to take some hits. Not the smartest thing, Max, but he'll stay in the pocket more, so he have to block longer.
Sure.
And it was actually kind of difficult at first because Rome was very quiet. So even in practice, like, you couldn't hear anything he was saying. And then my first game with Rome was against Massachusetts, and we were preparing all week for them not to have a crowd, and they came out with a pretty decent crowd. And so we couldn't hear him. Like, it was just hard. And then as the season went on, he got more comfortable. And then we started to hit our groove, and then he went down, unfortunately. Yep. And the way that he got hurt was very unfortunate, just dirty players. But then Max came in, and, we didn't really miss a beat, Yep. We went to Quad Cities next week, and, we all struggled but we put up like 50-something points. We just couldn't get one stop on defense, but, that's okay. They're a great offense. They're a great team. But Max came in, and he's done great. I think he's only lost 2 games as a starter.
Yep.
And so that's huge, that's huge on Corey's part, recruiting, and Matt putting his trust in him. And really the whole offense and the whole team just rallying behind him for him to come in and, play very well. And even last game, like I said, I wasn't there, but the team didn't look like it fell off, switching back to Jerome.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not much of a difference besides like blocking,
Sure.
So let's talk about that, because obviously there's when you start Max at the beginning of the game, there's the 2 interceptions. Mm-hmm. So as fans, those couch fans are like, get him out, bring him, you know that's happening. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate when things like that occur, and you don't really know who wasn't where they should have been. Right. There's so much that happens for a quarterback. So who wasn't where they were supposed to be, so on and so forth. Bad pass, whatever the case might be. Mm-hmm. Are you guys as players thinking the same thing? He makes a mistake, bring in the other guy? Because I think Corey, after this season, will definitely have 2 quarterbacks all the time.
Yeah, not so much, because you want to rely on your brother. Max has thrown interceptions before, and you don't just say throw the next guy because you're trying to keep him uplifted and stuff like that. You give up a sack as an offensive lineman, you don't just say go get the next guy or something, or you miss a tackle on defense. So you just trust that it was a bad play, bad read, good coverage. Sometimes it's just the defense. Sometimes they make the great play. That happens. It's football. There's ups and downs. Corey always says there's a roller coaster of the game. So,
yep.
You don't just say throw in the next guy, but, you also have to try to, in that point, save our season. So, 2 back-to-back interceptions, you want to keep momentum, and they were at home. So I feel like that was a great time to, make the switch right before halftime. And, we were pretty efficient after that.
Excellent. I think, too, Jerome is a quiet guy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you talk to him, he's a little more soft-spoken. Not that Max is really loud, but I think, too, you can look eye to eye with Max. You're kind of looking down at Jerome a little bit.
And then Jerome wears a dark visor, so I can't see his eyes or anything. And the thing with Max, so like me and Max have a thing where, especially now that I've been hurt, I will go over with Coach Barrett and get the play call from him, and I'll walk to the huddle with Max. And then when Max is reciting it, like I'm in his ear, like saying it also. And so that helps him a lot too, because I know during camp he was very nervous. He was very kind of quiet, didn't really get the terminology of the plays. And so even back in camp, I was just helping him to get the plays. And when we were up in Houghton, first of all, great experience. I really appreciated that. Not so much the snow, but
There wasn't even any snow. You guys had beautiful weather up there.
There was a lot of snow.
Well, there was on the ground, but it didn't really snow.
It didn't snow. No,
because Carl was hoping he was going to dig a tunnel like to where you guys had to eat. So he was really disappointed that there wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But during camp, I could tell Max was nervous, especially being first year quarterback in the IFL, and then not knowing like the designated starter really until game 1.
Yeah.
And so like I saw that being someone who's playing this league. This is my 3rd year in this league, so I saw that and I tried to help him out as much as possible. Rome didn't really need that help. He kind of came in and just grasped everything pretty well, but. I feel like the 2 quarterback system is really good. We had something like that similar last year, and then Jack kind of took the reins halfway through the season. And so this year, having both of them, you want that designated starter, but having a backup who can pretty much do the same thing is always pretty good.
Yeah, and Max stuck with it the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then now that Jerome is back, I mean, Corey's got a hard decision as to who starts.
Yeah,
he really does.
I feel like they won't know until game day of who's going to start this week. And a lot of people were saying, because I look at the forums and everything too.
Oh, why do you?
Yeah, I know. I knew that was going to make you upset, but it just
you wanted there to be a rage, didn't you?
Rage.
A lot of people are saying Jerome is back, just throw him in. But you also have to think he's coming back off an injury, so mentally that does affect you as an athlete, playing wise. And he looked really good, out there. I feel like if we would have threw him in like against Tulsa or something, maybe he wasn't mentally ready. And I think the coaches did a great job evaluating him, and Brooke working with him, and everyone in that whole recovery process, that it was time for him to play.
Excellent. No, that's fantastic. So you mentioned something that I just want to touch on a little bit. 3rd year. That means if you come back next year, you're a vet.
Yes.
Yeah. And we can only have how many of those on the team, Ryan?
Why did you ask me a number question and a football question? Like,
I'm
that's set
sorry.
up to fail.
Okay.
It's like 5, right?
5.
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. Why did you? Okay.
5 sounds good. I think you said 5
That's
before.
a trap.
It's a trap. Let's go with 5. Let's go with 5. Let's go with 5.
Is it 7?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Is it that many?
I don't know.
It seems like
This is going really well.
Anyway, so are you planning on this is more of your personal. So if you say, Kathy, that now's not the time. Are you planning to come back and play another season?
I think that would be a.
Would you want to?
I would want to, yes.
Okay.
But, it's not really up to me.
Okay,
But I feel like I put myself in a great position to come back next
Good
season.
answer.
But,
Good answer.
I mean, that's a Corey and you and your husband decision.
So we bring you back. How long do you want to play football in this league? Are you still aspiring to get to?
So I'll be
higher
honest. I've been in the NFL, I've been XFL, and I've been in the IFL. So to me, I'm more the mindset of like, I've been there. What can I do to help the next person get there? So like a lot of people want to get to NFL or XFL or whatever, but they don't know like how to get there. So they come here thinking you just come here, play a few games and get out. It's not that easy at all. The indoor game is very different from the outdoor game. And a lot of people ask me, like, what's the difference? And the main thing is the size of the field, obviously, but the speed of the game. And having been in the NFL, like, that is the highest point. So, like, I've played in, really fast environments, but nothing like the IFL. And so I'm here mainly as a mentor. I love football. I love playing football. But I've also kind of transitioned into the, mentor coaching side of things. And so like I'm helping like Trent and our new offensive lineman Matt and like Damian Britt and like all of the offensive linemen, helping them to like do this stuff right and, look at things differently, especially like while I've been injured. I've been more coaching since I couldn't practice. I've been more coaching, helping out Coach Peacock, offense and defensive line side of the ball, and just seeing things from a different lens. So like, yes, I would come back and play. Of course, I would love playing, but I'll be 27 in March next year. So it's like, do I really want to try to keep chasing this dream until, like 30 plus? A lot of these guys, like Lorenzo Brown from Sioux Falls, yeah, that won't be me. That definitely won't be me. And I also listen to you, like how you say, like, even you've been in this league 3 years and, nothing's really happened. It's time to start thinking about other things. And I've been thinking about that all season. This is my 3rd year in the IFL, second with the Blizzard. And I'm just like, man, that talk with Kathy is going to be either it's time for you to go, buddy, or, we can do one more. But then you bring up Canty and you get so excited. And I'm just like, okay, I have a chance. Like, Canty's been here forever, so I have a chance. But it's a tough decision because, you got to think about life after football. And, this game is such a high impact game. Injuries happen, obviously. And so you got to think about, your body.
We want you to be able to walk when you get to my age.
Definitely.
I mean, because it's already tough without football injuries.
And I had never thought about it until I got injured recently, but I've been playing football 13 years straight. And that's a lot, waking up early, weights and, pounding against, other 200-pound men. And it's a lot. And, that's definitely something I had to think about. And, I am content with if you guys do bring me back playing one more season and, kind of giving it my all and seeing what happens. And if you guys don't, then, I have to go to like Sioux Falls or something.
Wow.
But,
and there you have it.
I wouldn't do that.
So now it's time for the rage.
Yes. What did you go to school for?
Kinesiology.
And so do you have in the off season, do you do something associated with your career or?
Yes and no. I'm a teacher. So
okay.
I'm a teacher and a coach down in Texas. And so last year I worked with behavioral students, kind of like, I call myself the school security guard. Obviously my size, and I walked around with the radio and stuff. So like the kids loved it. And I worked with 6th through 8th graders, so middle school. That was definitely a challenge,
It's like herding cats.
Yeah. So cats listen probably a lot better. And it's not so much profanity used with cats, but no, it was fun. I actually enjoyed it, and it was actually really hard for me to leave to come back up here just because of the connection I built with the students. And so going back, I'm not sure if I want to go back and teach just because it's a lot, and I'm kind of transitioning into wanting to be a personal trainer. And so I've been taking classes to get my personal training license, and kind of move into that aspect again, because football is coming to a close for me. So just finding something else to stay around the game or stay with people in the game, but also still have that love for it.
That's fantastic. I got nothing. I'd love to have you back, but I'd also would wish you well if you chose not to continue your career. You worked hard in school to get that degree and to try and apply it in whatever else you intend to do. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's the goal of it. You play football, for your personal reasons, but for everyone it comes to a close, whether it's injury or you just get too old or whatever. So you have to be ready for that. And I always tell the younger guys on the team, have a plan, because you never know. I didn't plan to get hurt. No one ever plans to have injury or to get cut or whatever. Sometimes it's just a business decision. And I had to learn that, when I was in the NFL. I got cut. I got hurt, but I was fine. I was doing well. I was practicing again. And then we had a meeting one day, and then it came out of the meeting and I got cut. It was just a business decision, and it hurt initially, but you also have to realize that they have a job to do as the leaders of their organization and the coaches and stuff like that. And it's the same thing here. The IFL is not the NFL by any means, but for most guys, this is your NFL. So why not take advantage of it? And we're in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I never thought I would be in Wisconsin, ever. And to be here for 2 seasons, a full year now, I think it's just one of the best things that's ever happened to me, because it's shown me that there's, more to life than just the NFL. So I really appreciate being here.
So are you a Cowboys fan?
No.
Okay. Just had to make sure.
No, definitely not.
You're not a Packer fan, are you?
Slowly becoming one.
All right. Well, we thank you for coming on the show.
Of course.
This has been great. Seeing the insight from a player point of view is fantastic. Maybe we could have you as a regular. I would
appreciate that. I'm not doing anything. I would appreciate that. I mean, every time you guys post, I'm always watching. I put it on my TV and just watch, and I laugh, and the 100th episode I did cry, and it was just to see the work you guys have put in. I don't know how I started watching the show. I think it had to be during a bye week last year or something, and I was just on YouTube trying to watch film, and then I saw it, and I was like, what is this? And then so I just looked at it and been watching ever since. So I definitely appreciate you guys for doing this. A lot of teams don't have something like this, and to be able to have a player come on and give my insight of things, I think that's really cool. And so, yeah, I really appreciate both of you.
He's not even sweating.
No. Nope.
Just talking.
Really cool. It's just really cool.
That's because I'm comfortable with you guys. You guys come around a lot, so I'm comfortable.
Awesome.
If I hadn't seen you, then it'd be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be like a bunch of shock and awe going on. So we had the 4th of July.
Yep.
It happened last week, which was fabulous. Did you get a little relaxation in? Did you see some fireworks, both of you?
Yeah, I saw some fireworks. We had a team, a little get together at our team hotel, and a lot of guys did some cooking and fireworks and stuff. So that was pretty good. But we did have practice that day, getting ready for the game this past weekend. So I mean, that wasn't bad. We practiced outside, so it was fine. But people don't understand that also. Football is a job, so it's a never-ending job. So even after the game this upcoming weekend, we still have to train in the off season. And, it just never stops. You do often do your off-season plan and job and stuff like that. We still got to train for next year. But yeah, I did get to see a few things.
Awesome.
Ryan?
You?
Yeah, I did. I don't remember much of it, and that's not for.
We had Balloon Fest.
Ryan.
That's not
hold on. Mr. Hobson.
It's a blur.
Okay.
Not like that type of blur. I didn't black out on the 4th of July.
You were close to it though?
No.
Okay.
I think we just did some fireworks in the driveway, and then this week we were up on Wausau for Balloon Fest. They didn't fly. Balloons don't fly. Yeah. So regardless, you get up to a certain point, and there's people tracking weather when you're dealing with 60 hot air balloons, and they equated it once you reach a certain height, it was like tornado weather up top, even though it was fine down low because of two different cold and warm fronts colliding. So they didn't fly the first day and they didn't fly the second day because there was weather. So, but they still had set up food trucks and you could still see the balloons and stuff, but they did not go up. So
that's got to be disappointing.
I mean, yeah, because it was still nuts
for them and
there because the weather allowed you to come hang out and stuff. It just up higher, they couldn't take flight.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was still good.
Cool.
So
cool. Do we have any movies this week?
Yes.
What do we have this week?
Mission Impossible.
Dun dun.
His highest reviewed Rotten Tomato score ever in his career too. Not that they define the industry, but it's doing really well. So I also was reading an article that his train stunt, and you can go find it out there, like they had to pick, I think they finally landed in a fourth country that let them blow up this train. Like they tried 3 other countries that would not allow him to do the stunt there. So that train stunt is one to watch apparently. So yeah, I was reading an article on it. And of course it was him that wanted to blow up a train. So
very good.
Yeah.
Did we review on here the Harrison Ford movie?
I don't think so. That happened.
Yeah,
after the fact. Yeah.
So let's talk
Indiana
about that.
Jones.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So Indiana Jones.
guy?
This is the part of the show where I kind of like.
This is
You
where
know,
you
my
tune
phone
out,
and-
put on pause, you walk out of the room. Okay. So we had Mitch. I think Mitch is going to see it this week.
Yep.
With his family. So I loved it. I'm a Harrison Ford fan. Raiders of the Lost Ark was a very memorable time with my dad.
Yeah.
So every time it would come, one of his movies would come out, my dad's like, "Are we going to the show house?" Because it wasn't a theater, it was a show house. And so it was just fun to go and watch him on screen again. I don't care if he's 80 years old. He still fits that role. He is that guy. You won't be able to do a remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark in 10 years or 20 years without him. That's just my 2 cents. So
I think they'll leave it alone. I mean, they kind of sent them off accordingly.
Yeah.
So, and that's
I don't believe that. I'm not an Indiana Jones person, but just
think he'll
thinking.
come back?
Well, just thinking like you brought up the Fast and Furious stuff.
Oh
So
yeah,
like,
they've been around
they'll be
forever.
fast.
so like,
40
are they actually going to leave it alone, or going to try to keep it going?
Yeah.
I'm not a big movie person, but when you guys talk about it, it makes me kind of interested.
Yeah, it was good. It was very good. So we'll be off to Mission Impossible. All right. What else you got?
Not a lot.
I do.
Oh, wow. Boom.
Just like so a player looking at, we'll start with Ryan from your side of the things. What is like this last game, and then going into off season, what it look like for you and your side of things, and then you from the owner's side of things?
We joke that I only think in home games, but it's kind of how I started working on our 2024 stuff about a month ago. So I'm already working on that. And that's a lot of it. Like this week is probably 15, 16 different corporate partners, renewals, meetings, lunches, meetings, golf, whatever it might be, to talk through, thank first of all, and see if they want to come back. And then again, Kathy had alluded on a different episode, we have a pretty good line of sight to the 2024 dates. So starting to map out the theme nights, because the fastest clock we deal with is the game ball, because they come from over China. So like we have to submit art in September really. So I'll work on the sponsor, then we'll work on the themes, and then we'll work with a creative edge potentially to design them, because I am by no means a graphic designer. So once we have the themes, we'll work on that. And once you get the themes and you know what you're dealing with for 7 or 8 home games, it's really working backwards and then half times. Because you got you can put one performing group on, and you know what it's like when we extend halftime. You're stuck in the locker room longer, like whether it's Dash for Cash and a dance team. But half times, and then it's starting to work with schools once they're back in September. Not a ton of time off. Like you had asked about 4th of July and stuff. Right now, I've taken like 2 to 3 days off in any given week. I'll probably burn a week off at some point here and just not do anything. But I'd love to get through the people that are coming back, so we know what dasher boards and what inventory is available, so I know what it looks like for a new partner coming in, and then I'll breathe a little bit. But it's just, I think it's just like you, right? It's not, I go golf for 3 months during the summer at all. It's a little, I've asked that, actually all the partners have asked that question when I've sat down with them. It's a lot less stress because you don't have a home game pulling on you to deal with 400 school kids or whatever you got going on. But it's still they've poured emotionally and financially into this thing for 9 years, right? So I don't just vanish in the summer and hope it figures itself out in the fall.
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot of, and I really enjoy, probably 8 years ago where it was really clawing for a $3,000 sale. It didn't feel like it feels now, but I enjoy catching up with those people. Like Kathy and I talked last episode, even if the budget change or someone's out, like I enjoy this part of the year where I get to talk to them, thank them for keeping us around another year, and then work on what the heck next year's looks like more lasers or whatever we're doing. Like, so it's fun in the creative part of the off season, but a lot more kids sports stuff going on right now for me, but it's a lot of this is where we get way ahead of all the hard work that you guys get to see on game day, right? So 5,000 people don't just magically show up at the arena. So that's what we work on right now. So
Okay.
if that sort of answers
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It's a lot of right. Specifically for me, it's the corporate partner stuff. Yeah.
There is no pressure here. I want to emphasize, though, the reason why it's enjoyable is it's not a transactional.
Yep.
It's truly relationship selling. And that's one thing that I think in Green Bay we have had, and it's not to say that the other teams in the IFL aren't like that, but I think they've learned some things over the years. We are preparing already. When we have new teams that come on board, and we should have some new teams in 24, whether they're expansion or existing teams from other leagues, it doesn't matter. If they're not already planning for next year, they're going to be behind the 8 ball. And then you don't want to be playing catch up during the season because you do have a game to think about here or there, and you can't be playing catch up during the season. So for me as an owner, for Larry and Larry handles a lot with Corey, so he's constantly reviewing the football side of things. So not to say that he's deciding, do you come back or not come back, but he's talking to Corey about what worked well from a coaching perspective, what worked well from motivating players, so on and so forth, demeanor of players, the type of players we want here in Green Bay. We won't get into that on this episode. I'll leave that for another episode. But for me, it's working with Ryan and supporting him. So really, as owners, we're more of a support staff, sometimes a psychologist, sometimes a bartender.
A lot of times.
Yeah. Sometimes just there for moral support, to lift him up when he's had a bad day or celebrate with him when he's had some great wins. So that's really our role. Yes, there's a checkbook associated with it, but if we dwelled on that, we would have been done 5-10 years ago, literally. So, for us, it's more about, we love what the Blizzard does for the community. We appreciate the fans that come to the games, and we just want to make it the best that it can be. So
the hard part is that it's going on at the same time, right? So I'm very aware that there are 4 away games, but like if I just sat there and waited for you guys to play every Saturday, it would have been a really unproductive month, right? So, and I kudos to Selena and Knapp because you guys have still been out in the community without home games to promote, which is awesome. So, because that has not been that way probably in the past 8 years. Like you guys have probably been in the community more than you ever have, which is outstanding, right? Versus just, we're going to clock out for a month and we'll wait for the championship game.
That shows the fans that you care, which will then bring them back because they're waiting for the next home game.
Right.
They want to know if it's in September. They don't want to go to a Packer game. They want to go to a Blizzard game.
Yeah, definitely.
So, awesome.
Good
Well,
questions.
thank you.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
This
We're
was
not done yet,
fabulous.
though.
Oh, we're not done.
No.
Oh, okay.
I have another question.
Wow.
So last week the IFL brought out the IFL to XFL combine, and so could you go in a little bit about what that exactly is?
So that is when we go to the championship game in August. So this will be on the day that we're having our meetings as owners. So the owners won't be there, but our coaches, normally, especially head coaches, come to that championship game from throughout the league. So it's meant for the coaches to be there. It's meant for players that will not be in the actual championship game. So any of our Blizzard players that want to take a trip out to Vegas, they have to get there, obviously. But it's meant to give exposure to the XFL coaches, the IFL coaches, and the players to get that extra exposure. The combine was something that came up just recently with the XFL ending before us, and then we had the whole draft situation, and some of the XFL players did come back, some of them did not. So it's just another way to show that we're trying to partner with them. Mm-hmm. So it's really more to show that feeling of we really are in this together and move forward together. Yeah. Good question.
Appreciate it.
I didn't know if it got out there yet or not.
It was posted last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
No retraction.
No retraction.
I wouldn't have said anything if it wasn't.
Awesome.
You also wouldn't have been phased had you said something, because that's what we do on this show.
Yes.
So.
No, we would have come up with a way to support it.
I usually text Sean and be like, hey, don't air that one yet. I got to find out if we're okay.
I did see that they finally posted on the forum Riggs' retirement.
Yeah, we broke that story here.
Yeah, just so you know.
Yep.
All right, what else you got?
Well, we didn't really talk about the game coming up.
What are we going to talk about?
Well, what are your keys to victory?
Oh boy. So my keys to victory would be so Tucson is one of those teams, kind of like Quad Cities and Sioux Falls, where they are consistent. Mm-hmm. So they never really take their foot off the gas pedal. They're not going full force, but they are absolutely applying pressure. So I think we need to win the toss and get the ball at half. So that would be my key.
Okay.
First key. Second would be that we have to come out right away and get some points on the board to not have a cushion, but to get a hold of the game. This is going to be a tough game. Mm-hmm. I really think it's going to be. They have a great defense. They have a stellar offense when it's clicking. So I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. This is not going to be an easy game.
Yeah, I think it's definitely harder playing the teams in the Western Conference. They all score points. Mm-hmm. And versus the East, we're kind of low scoring games, most of the time. And, even we played San Diego, like we had a good lead on them and they started to come back late because they know how to score points. So definitely, I've never been to Tucson, but I've seen their field before, and I've seen them play. I will be honest, I haven't watched film yet, but I would probably do that after this. But just seeing them, just from other games, they are a tough team. They have a really good quarterback. I think he was in Duke City last year, so. Mm-hmm. I know he's big and he's strong and, he can run the ball, but as well as throw the ball. And I'm sure they have weapons on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So the biggest thing for us this week, and I know Coach Barron said it last night in our meeting, is staying in it. We can still kind of spoil their season a little bit, and we have a chance to get to 500, or we're 500 now. We're 500 now, so we have a chance to get over 500, 8 and 7 will look a lot better than 7 and 8. And, just to go down there and have, one more. Like I said this yesterday in our pool workout, this is the last, pool workout we had. This would be like our last technical off day, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's sad because this team will, never be the same. We have guys who are going to go off and do their own thing, and some guys may come back, some guys may go to other teams, and, you just have to really cherish the moments that you have with everybody. And I know every year that you guys do something at the end of the season for the whole team. And, last year I didn't really appreciate that as much, during the time. But, after that, guys start going home immediately. And, that's hard because it's easier now with social media. We can keep up with each other, but it's nothing like being face to face with someone. And I will say that it's been difficult for the offensive line because, MJ went down and then I went down and then, Trent's played every game this year, but, he is hurting. And you see that for your guys and you just want to pick them up and help them. But, there's only so much you can do as one person. And, just seeing that the season's coming to a close, it's just what do we do do now? Like, how do we stay in touch and stuff like that? And, I think Corey would tell you the offensive line is the closest group on the team. And, I think receivers and DBs may say otherwise, but like when you see one O-line.
Talk more receivers and DBs.
That is very true.
It talks smack, that's for sure.
You see one offensive lineman and then you see the rest of us coming up, very slowly versus like you'll see like a DB, a receiver here, but like we're always together. And so I think that helped us a lot this year, and it showed on the field with the chemistry we had. And, when MJ and I both got hurt in the same game, that next week in practice, it was
rough.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a big difference. And, that's no discredit to the guys that stepped in. Like they did great, but when you have that chemistry going and, you can feed off of each other and you don't have to like talk as much or think as much, that makes a big difference. And, I credit Britt and Lou and Matt, who just came in last week. They stepped up and, that really helped, Trent, keep that offensive line grounded. And, that's helped out with Max and, our receivers and stuff like that. But, it's going to be a tough week. You just try to make memories while you can, while you're still here. But, I know guys are kind of itching to get out of here too. So I just want to like say from a player standpoint, just stay in it. This week's going to go by quick, but you're going to look back in October and be like, man, I wish I would have spent more time with this guy or whatever, because life is short, so you never know what could happen. And it was kind of bittersweet seeing other guys come to Green Bay, or we go to other teams and seeing other guys that we played against, like Keyshawn and stuff like that. And all that is great. You want the best for them, but you also have those memories in your head that was once your brother on the same team. So yeah,
it truly is a brotherhood across the IFL, and that's why it saddens me when I see players that do dirty things, and a lot of times those aren't the guys that they're going to come in and they're going to leave right away.
Right.
They're here for a moment in time, but it is nice to see, even after a hard-fought Sioux Falls, Iowa game, those players have been on the opposing team. So to see them come together on the field and talk, and that's really cool to me to watch, that you can be competitive, but you also can respect one another as men.
The one that kind of stuck out to me this year for me is Sioux Falls, who played James Brown.
Yeah.
James is the nicest guy, and I know he used to watch this last year, so I hope he watches this year.
He does. He still watches.
Cool.
Yes.
Hi, James. Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Before the game, we were talking a little bit, but then it's like during the game, it's like we did not like each other.
Oh, it's all business. It's all business.
I know Joey said it one time on the YouTube, and he was like, "We're the two nicest guys you can ever meet, but on the field it's totally different." And like on the field, he wasn't James Brown, who spent a whole season with me last year. He was James Brown, who plays for Sioux Falls now, and so that totally went out the window. I had to do my job. He tried to do his job, and then after the game, it was just all hugs and everything. And so that's the beauty of this sport. Like you want to beat the person across from you, but you also have that respect for them as well. And even like sometimes I've had defensive ends who put hands to my face or do dirty things to me or try to hit me late. Even after that, we're all trying to get to the same thing. So I respect everybody I go against, and me personally, I'm the guy out there who's not trying to make friends, but I try to talk to the guy across from me and just like chill out, like relax a little bit, and then I use that to my advantage because he's thinking that I'm going to relax, and then we run a play and I'm running him over or something like that. But I make sure
that reverse psychology.
Yeah, right.
I make sure that everyone respects me because I respect everyone. Even if you disrespect me, like there's no ill feelings.
Well, you don't know when you're going to be teammates again.
Exactly.
I mean, you have no idea if you do go to Sioux Falls.
Exactly.
We might have James back here, and then
that'd be an interesting trade. But yeah, so yeah, there's a lot that goes into prepping for a game and keeping your head focused. I do want to apologize to you and to the rest of Blizzard Nation. During one of the Sioux Falls games, I lost my head a little bit. I was just not myself, and your husband actually said something to me. He was like, "That's not you," and I had to really think. I was like, "Man, that's just not me." I got an unsportsmanlike penalty, and that's definitely not me. Like, I'm not one to showboat or to like flex my muscles or anything. And I got into that, and I got into all the stuff that they were saying, and it just made it looks bad on TV, especially like been watching the past month when guys do stuff like that. It looks bad in the organization. So I wanted to apologize for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
That would lead me into what happened with in Arizona, but I'm going to save that for our next show
Right on.
so that I can not be as vocal. I think we call it rage now, but
Yes, we
yeah.
do.
We'll talk about that the next time. So we have a big thing to figure out here is how are we doing the Go Blizz?
I think he has to go like this.
That's what I was thinking in my head.
Are you going to do this or are you going to do...
Oh, yeah, the cross works better.
The cross works better?
Can you... Don't hit the
I'm
microphone.
not going to hit the microphone, hopefully. But
All right. What else we got? Is that
That's it.
That was
That's
a really
it.
good episode.
Indeed.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
That might be a
Anytime.
record. We'll have to see the
I think it's a
timestamp.
record. Yeah. But it's
Sorry
going to be
if it
good
took too long.
content.
That's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
So
It'd be
that is
fabulous.
great.
Our snow is still falling in the background.
That's
Yeah, so we're
awesome,
good.
too.
we're
Great
good.
work.
Creative edge.
And Edge. Nailed it.
Nailed it. All right.
That's what we got.
That's what you
What we
got?
got?
Do you want to say it? Or do you want me to say it?
Should we hit him with it?
Oh!
Let's hit him
Let's
with
hit
it.
him with it.
Go,
Go
Blizz.
Blizz.
Don't forget to like, follow,
Subscribe
share.
and ring that notification bell to get all of our content in your inbox.